Hey guys, welcome back to Young Americans Abroad, your best place for weekly content on young American soccer players playing overseas. My name is Austin Van Churn, and welcome to our show. Well, guys, it definitely wasn't the best weekend for some of our Yas over the weekend. And, some of our younger Yas kind of stepped up and provided some goals and assists for their teams and helped them get some wins. But we also had some really unfortunate injuries. And we're going to talk about that on our episode today. So, all the good performances were kind of had a damper put on them by, some of that news. So, without wasting any more time, let's get right into our episode. So to start our episode today, we want to talk about Weston McKennie. And Weston was back in midfield for Schalke, playing as a right center mid in their 0-0 draw for, or against Mainz, I should say. And it was a great game from Weston. It was really one of those good all-around performances from him. He was good getting back. There were several points where he made some crucial tackles in behind to stop, some Mainz, attacking sequences, and did really good work on the defensive side of the ball, but also, transitioned that play into attack as well. And, especially in the second half, there was a really nice shot he had that was, this close from going in and giving Schalke a crucial, 1-0 win. And then even at the end of the game, there was a header that he was wide open for. Great to see him get in position to score a header, but unfortunately put it just wide. And that was, with minutes to go. So it could have been, again, another, crucial goal to give them that, 1-0 win. But, either way, it was a really good performance from Weston. Again, it was a performance that, we really want to see from him game in and game out. He really, I would say, dominated the midfield in this game and, showed why he can play, in that 8 position and really do some good things defensively and then get forward and play well in attack as well. So, that was good to see. Obviously, seeing him in midfield, he's played multiple positions this year and also in his career. So anytime I think he can get a game under his belt in, his natural position of midfield and center midfielder, I think that's good for him. And, help Schalke get a point on the day. They were probably, I would say, they were the better team on the day and deserved to get the win. But, it was a tightly contested game. And, Schalke, after last season where they were kind of in Werder Bremen territory, I think, they'll be happy coming away from this game with a point. So, so far they've started 2020 off pretty well. They have 2 wins, 3 draws, and only 1 loss, which was, that 5-0 thrashing by Bayern. So, other than that game, I think, it's been a pretty good start to 2020 for them. And right now they sit in 6th, which is the Europa League, qualifying position. So, looking at last year where I believe they finished in 14th, this is definitely a better start to the season and, a good turnaround from David Wagner and his squad there. So, it's good to see Weston playing a crucial role in that as well. And, I just like what Schalke have now. It seems like they finally gotten some good prospects in and are kind of playing the right players this year. And it's just really good to see, Weston be that one of those players that David Wagner relies upon and can kind of, maybe not give the keys in midfield, but definitely, put him in a position to succeed and be a playmaker and difference maker. So, just good to see Weston back on the field, pretty much regularly now for Schalke and, seeing him healthy. Obviously, he had a little injury scare there right before the winter break. So, it was good to see that. And, that's pretty much all we have on Weston today. So now moving over to a slightly more depressing topic and unfortunately situation for a player we're going to discuss here, and that would be of Tim Weah. So Tim finally made his long-awaited debut, or I guess it wasn't a debut, but his return to Lille's Lille's lineup this weekend and, subbed on in the 80th minute for them in their 2-1 loss and played, the final 10 minutes of that game. Only had 2 touches in this game, so, not really much to talk about in his minutes on the field. But what was revealed after the game was that he actually, I guess they're calling it a strain, but somewhere online it said it was a partial tear of his hamstring. So that must have happened in this game at some point. Wasn't able to see any of the footage, so I don't know if it was clear to see or not. But so another injury for Tim Weah. When he got injured, this past time it was in August, so he waited almost 6 months to come back from that injury, and it was definitely a long-awaited return because we haven't really seen him in a USMNT shirt over that span, and obviously Lille haven't seen him, in one of their shirts as well. So, and they're not, they're having a decent year, not as well as last year, where they finished in a Champions League position and we're second in the table. So it was good to see him back for them, and hopefully helping them kind of ride the wave for the second year and kind of boost them into a better position in the table. But unfortunately, just wasn't meant to be at the moment. And, with this hamstring strain or tear, whatever it is, the reports I saw said that he'd probably be out now 6 to 8 weeks. I don't know how accurate that is. It was still pretty new news today. So, I guess we'll have to see if it is 6 to 8 weeks, and that'll definitely rule him out of, these March friendlies coming up. I don't think he was going to be included in the Olympic qualifying, just because he's kind of a player that's past that in my view. And also with this past injury that he had, it was going to be a quick turnaround time. And, he really hasn't gotten minutes with that U23 team. So, with that seemingly being off the table, I think it's, best now for Tim just to kind of focus on getting healthy for, the end of the season here with Lille. And then, just trying to, once he comes back, stay healthy again. It seems like that's the first step now since, he got injured again. He's just got to kind of, make sure he's fully fit and ready to go, and, can hang and, not get injured yet again, because that would be, the worst possible thing to happen. But, I think Tim should focus on Lille in the near, short-term future. And then probably, if you asked him, his goal would be the Olympics this summer. So, bearing if we qualify or not, maybe that'll be the next time we see, Tim in a USMNT shirt. And, at the moment, I wouldn't be upset with that because I just want to see him healthy. So, I wish we had more to really report about Tim, but, we were really looking forward to seeing him back this week. I know, it was announced on Friday, I think, that he was going to be in the I guess 19 or 18 for Lille. So, seeing him healthy and right back into that, first team squad in the very first game he was fully back for was exciting for us. But unfortunately, this week on a sour note from him. So, with that being said, now we're going to toss it over to, some more disappointing news. So going back to Germany, we want to talk about Tyler Adams. So last week, Tyler played, I would say, really well for Leipzig in their game against Bayern. It was a big 0-0 draw for them. Good game. It was one where, both teams were pretty evenly matched and definitely went back and forth throughout the game. So, all in all, a good result for Leipzig. But it was announced that, Tyler Adams, after that game, suffered an injury as well. So I'm not sure. I didn't have the injury in front of me, so I wish I prepared that, but by mistake. But basically, it said that Tyler was going to be out another 2 to 3 games, I believe, after that Bayern game. So he missed this past weekend in the Bundesliga. I believe they played Werder Bremen, Josh Sargent's Werder Bremen, which we'll talk about briefly a little bit later. And Leipzig won 3-0, so Leipzig got the job done without him. But what's really big for Tyler and what's got to be hurting him a little bit is he'll actually miss their Champions League matchup with Tottenham this coming week. So that was something, in some of the interviews we've heard from Tyler recently, playing in the Champions League was a big goal of his this year, and it was something that, he thought he was going to be able to do earlier in the season. Now he's, waiting to make his Champions League debut in, the knockout stages. So nothing's really, guaranteed at this point in the season. So, when he got healthy, I think he was really excited to, be back healthy for this crucial part of Leipzig's season, and them playing, in a really big game against Tottenham in the round of 16 in the Champions League. So unfortunately, it looks like we'll have to wait. Maybe he'll be healthy for the second leg. I'm not exactly sure when that is. I should look that up as well. But, we'll see. I think this injury doesn't sound as serious as Tim Weah's injury. So I'm hoping, it's just something that Tyler can quickly rehab and, obviously make sure he's healthy and fully fit, just like Tim Weah, and, come back this time and be ready to go for the long haul and be, ready to go for, at least the end of the season, the summer as well, and hopefully the start of next season's training on top of it. So, that was disappointing. But, Tyler Adams is a mentally strong player and someone that will definitely, use this injury setback to kind of fuel his play when he gets back healthy. So I don't think it's anything to, greatly worry about. Obviously, we're worried about his health and making sure that he can, get healthy and stay healthy. But at the same time, like I said, he's a mentally strong player and someone that, will come back stronger than ever. So, again, another short segment, but that's, all we have to really report on Tyler this week. So now let's head over to Mexico and talk about, a player who's really taken to life in Mexico and has really started to look like a player that's going to play a big role for our Olympic qualifying chances, and that would be Sebastian Saucedo. So Sebastian started yet again, like he's had ever since he's gotten to Pumas in Mexico, and played 83 minutes for them this weekend and picked up the game-winning assist in their 3-2 win over Toluca, I believe. So, a game-winning assist, in a 3-2 win. So that's, a very tightly contested game. And, it was a really nice ball. I believe he kind of crossed it into the box from closer to the center of the park. And, a player was just able to get on the end of it and finish and, help Pumas get a really big win, because right now they sit in first in the Liga MX standings, and that's in the Clausura, I guess you'd say it. They have the Apertura, which is in the fall, and then the Clausura, which is in the spring. So, I believe there's 7 games in at the moment, 6 or 7. So Pumas is in first place over, a lot of the bigger teams who have kind of really failed to get their season, or their half season started, like Tigres and Monterrey and some of those teams. So, seeing him, starting for the very best team in Mexico at the moment is I would say pretty exciting. He's a player that didn't get much time at RSL last year and he always seemed to be like the player looking out, or looking on the outside looking in. And, was just never a player that was in their 11 consistently. So seeing him, make that move to Mexico, get some confidence under his belt, even playing with that US U23 team earlier this season in the winter, it seems like it's really helped his confidence and kind of helped him take his game to the next level. So that's really exciting. He's, a very technical winger and someone who is good on set pieces and, just can provide a lot of quality, just technique to the pitch. So the fact that we have a player who's, who can do some of that stuff and play confidently at the moment, I think will be a big help for us in Olympic qualifying, because it seems like, just from some of the recent camps, that he is going to be, a real big focus of this qualifying cycle. So, I'm really excited about what I see from Sebastian so far. I know Pat is, excited as well. We were talking about it, I think like last week we were just talking about him. So, definitely a good, transfer. Good to, I guess, get away from MLS and RSL and, make the move back to Mexico, because he did play in Mexico earlier on in his career. And, it's really helping him, hone his game in even more. So, With that being said, again, short first part this week, but now we'll head over to quick kicks. And now it's Pat's favorite time of the show. It's also mine. That would be quick kicks.
So you could test Dwayne Miller. It's Altidore over the wall, and that one is in! Josie Altidore from a long way out. The opening goal for the United States.
So to start quick kicks today, we have Sergino Dest, who started and played 90 minutes for Ajax in their 3-0 win. Now, moving over to Germany, we have Gio Reyna, who came on and played the final 15 minutes for Dortmund in their 4-0 win over Frankfurt. And, at the time of filming this is before the Dortmund PSG game in the Champions League. So hopefully, to add to this, we'll see a Gio Reyna debut in the Champions League. But here's to hoping we see that. And now, staying in Germany, we have Josh Sargent, who played the final 25 minutes for Bremen, and that was in their 3-0 loss to Leipzig. Unfortunate there. And, moving over to the Netherlands, we have some a little bit of drama, I'd say, and that would be with Richy Ledezma. So Richy started for Young PSV this past weekend, picked up an assist early on in the game, looked lively to start, but then got a red card in the 29th minute of the game. And it was for kicking out on a player after a hard tackle. So, not the best thing to see there. The tackle was kind of dirty, so maybe he's, a little vindicated there's some merit to that kick out and retaliation. But with that being said, we don't want to, obviously condone it. But so some drama there for Richy. Now moving back to Germany, we have Uly Llanez, who started for Wolfsburg's U19s and had an assist in their 3-1 win. So good to see Uly back on the pitch in Germany. It was good to see him in January camp and, back to picking up, goals and assists for his team. So good to see. Now staying again in Germany, we have Chris Richards. And Chris started and played 90 minutes for Bayern 2 in their big 6-1 win in the 3 Liga there in Germany. So, yeah, that's a big win for them. Their team right now sitting, I believe, mid-table in the 3rd league in Germany. So, before the season, it was the question of whether or not they could, stay up in that league. And it looks like at the moment they're really starting to turn it on and kind of figure things out. And, who knows, maybe at the end of the season kind of challenge for promotion there to the 2 Bundesliga. That would be something. But, now heading over to France, we have Jordan Siebatcheu. And Jordan scored a goal for Stade Rennes in their 3-0 French Cup win. I believe it was last weekend. So cool to see, Jordan scoring his first goal of the season, I believe. I'm not sure about that, actually, now that I say it. But always good to see, him scoring a goal. And who knows, maybe we'll get to see him here coming up in a month. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Now heading over to Denmark, we have Emmanuel Sabbi and Christian Cappis. So both of these players started for Hobro, played 90 minutes, but that was unfortunately in a 3-1 loss to, I think, Odense Bold Club. So not the best news right there, but, Odense Bold Club is Emmanuel Sabbi's new team next year. So, we'll have to see what those guys can do, and hopefully they can help Hobro stay up. Yet again, they're in another relegation fight. So, we'll keep back and keep reporting about them. Now heading over to England, we have Cameron Carter-Vickers. Cameron started and played 90 minutes in Luton's 1-0 win over Middlesbrough. So again, good to see him getting minutes after this move to Luton. And it looks like they're kind of climbing out of that relegation zone a little bit. So, still pretty early, and I believe they're still in the zone. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. But, 2 wins in a row, I believe, the past 2 weekends. So that's good news for Cameron and CCV. So heading back to Germany, we have Taylor Booth. Taylor started and played 72 minutes in Bayern's U19's 6-0 win. So another big win for a Bayern youth team this weekend. Now we want to finish today's episode with our Young Ya segment. And today's Young Ya is Joel Bustamante. And Joel is a 19-year-old midfielder from FC Dallas's academy. Just made the move over to Greuther Fürth in the 2 Bundesliga there. So he'll start off with their U19 team. Recently, Blaine Ferry played for their U19 team. I believe Blaine actually just made the move back to a team in USL. So The only other, I guess there's 2 other Americans there at the moment as well, and maybe a third if you count Sean Parker. But you have Julian Green and also Timothy Tillman. So, we've got a nice little trio of Americans, Yaz over there at Greuther Fürth. So definitely cool to see. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like this video and subscribe down below. And also make sure you check out our Twitter and Instagram. We try to post regularly, especially on Instagram, and give you guys all the updates you need for, all of the Yas at the moment. So, definitely check us out on there. And, again, a slow weekend, had some unfortunate injuries. So we'll definitely, keep you updated on their status and, some other players coming back like Christian Pulisic, who's also injured at the moment. So, not great, but hey, there's light at the end of the tunnel because we have a young core that will one day win us a World Cup.